Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today our topic is why an star Peter Bergman began his 30 years kicking and screaming. Now he calls it the best. 3 decades in Genoa City have flown by for Peter Bergman, whom young and the restless fans undoubtedly known as Jack Abbott. Monday, the CBS soap commemorates Bergman's 30 years on the daytime soap with a special anniversary episode dedicated to Jack's life. The actor calls the celebration cathartic, though he was not sold on the idea at first. I thought, do people really care about this? And as soon as I got the script, as soon as I got to play it all, it was so powerfully valuable for me to go through that experience, he says. And I hope the same is true for the audience. Bergman says it's just crazy how long he has been on the series. He was fired from All My Children in 1989 after a decade playing Dr. Cliff Warner, a blow he calls just devastating. But Melody Thomas Scott, who plays Nikki Newman on YNR, suggested to her husband, former executive producer Edward Scott, that Bergman should replace Jerry Lester, who originated the role. When I came to Young and the Restless, I was dragged, kicking and screaming to the best things that ever happened to me. He says, looking back, if I have any regrets, it's that I didn't immediately embrace it for the wonderful opportunity it was. Day of our lives renewal expected following news of planets shutdown. Days of our lives will take a break as NBC mulls its future cost will be released. Over the years, the daytime Emmy Award winner has seen his character evolve from a much more reckless, much more womanizing card to someone who understands empathy, honesty. He has learned the value of family. Bergman's early days playing Jack still rank among his favorite storylines. When he romanced Nikki slowly so he could use her as a pawn to wrestle his family's company. Jabot, back from Victor Newman, as Jack is pretending to have fallen for Nikki and has her increasingly in his clutches, and just before it's time to consummate the ideal, Jack realizes he is fallen in love with Nikki. Bergman recalls, and he loses everything. He lost Nikki, he lost Jabot, and that was a fun storyline. The start of Jack's romance with Phyllis also stand out. She liked nothing he grew up with. None of the girls from the country clubs were anything like this girl, and who was just so taken with her. Bergman says their kind of clumsy, awkward, stumbling trip to being married was a fun story to play with Michelle Stafford. Bergman was less fond of other Jack narratives, including his romantic reunion with Luan, a woman he met was serving in Vietnam with whom he had a son. Everyone knows that's kind of a standard joke with Peter Bergman. He says, just bring up chemo, and he starts to wince. For Bergman, Jacks look alike, found in a Peruvian prison, was also too outlandish. He swears he prefers things that are based a little more in reality. The Young and the Restless, which premiered in 1973, has stood the test of time while many other soaps have been cancelled, including All My Children. Bergman attributes the show's longevity to the network's mixed lineup of game shows and operas and the show's ability to stay true to self. When people tune into Y&R, they know who they are going to see on the show, and that's a critically important thing. He explains a lot of these shows keep trying to reinvent the wheel, transform themselves, bring in a whole new cost, and that has been to their detriment every single time. And Y&R has learned from that lesson, but there was a notable void left by Christoph St. John death in February. The actor who had played Neil Winters since 1991 died from hypertrophic heart disease at age 52. Bergman says the shocking death brought the cast all closer. When we did memorial service, we had already been through a funeral. We had already done scenes where Neil died, but we had not, as a company, really come together to mourn his loss. He swears it brought us all together in a really powerful way. Bergman says months later the cast is doing okay, but St. John's presence is still felt on the set. There are pictures of Christoph all around, and we all stop and look, says Bergman. We all take a moment to go and visit Christoph on the set because he is still very much a part of our Y&R experience. Bergman hopes his journey with the soap continues for as long as he remains passionate. As long as I love it as much as I do at this moment, I shall stay as long as there is a show. I still get excited every time I open a new script. Youngs and the Restless, Christoph St. John, Neil Ritter. Neil Winters may have died of massive stroke. Coroner Y&R star Christoph St. John. Cause of death was heart disease. Alcohol contributed. Nick gets suspicious of Ashland. Jack Phillips, or Samilian, Peter Bergman, and Red Michael Stafford try to figure out their relationship. Look for Jack to give Ellie Kelsey Wang sound advice while Phyllis plans some payback against Dion. Nick Victoria Ashland. The new man may think things are fine now that she is good and looking out of her life, but her little brother, Joshua Amaru, does not think so. Nick is worried Ashland may still retaliate against Victoria as long as he is in Genoa City. Victoria needs to listen to Nick because Ashland startles her when she sees him just leering at her through the window. Victoria threatens to call GCPD on him, but he claims he means no harm. Meanwhile, Nick decides to swing by Victoria's after attacking with Billy. Jason Thompson. When Nick shows up, the lights are on, but Victoria never answers the door. Nick believes she went to sleep and leaves but decides to double back and enters the back door. After she starts feeling something is not right. What will Nick find? Sally, the spunky redhead. Courtney Hope is put to the test by Victoria. Watch for Nick to offer some advice to Sally. Adam Sally, the black sheep. Newman. Mark Grossman decides to keep his lady love employed at Newman Media. He has to break up with her and puts on a hell of a show to convince her. Adam lights into Sally and tells her how Victor does not respect her and that she is hindrance to his father's acceptance, which he would not get as long as he is with her. Sally is taken aback by Adam's action, but she puts two and two together and figures out Adam is just putting on an act to save her jobs and begs him to stop. Watch for Adam to be conflicted on whether to keep up with his actions or let Sally know he is just doing to help her career. Ashley, the chemist, Ellen Davison, and Phyllis butt heads. Victor, the Black Knight, decides he has to do things this way. Look for Victor to question Adam's behavior. Nikki, the socialite, Melody Thomas Sackle, teams up with Phyllis and Ashley to take down Dion. Tessa, the songbird, has a revolution. Kill, the abbot playboy, Michael Mellor, gives some bad news. Things are fine now that she is gotten Loki out of her life, but her little boy, Joshua Morrow, does not think so. Nick is so worried Ashland may still retaliate against Victoria as long as he is in Genoa City. Victoria needs to listen to Nick because Ashland startles her when she sees him just leering at her through the window. Victoria threatens to call GCPD on him, but he claims he means no harm. Meanwhile, Nick decides to swing by Victoria's after talking with Billy Jason Thompson. When Nick shows up, the lights are on, but Victoria never answered the door. Nick believes she went to sleep and leaves but decides to double back and enter the back door after he starts feeling something is not right. What will Nick find? Sally, the spunky redhead, Courtney Hope, is put to the test by Victoria. Watch for Nick to offer some advice to Sally. Adam Sally, the black sheep. Newman Mark Grossman decides to keep his lady love employed at Newman Media. He has to break up with her and puts on a hell of a show to convince her. Adam lights into Sally and tells her how Victor Eric Bre- Braden does not respect her and that she is hindrance to his father's acceptance, which he would not get as long as he is with her. Sally is taken aback by Adam's action, but she puts two and two together and figures out Adam is just putting on an act to save her jobs and begs him to stop. Watch for Adam to be conflicted on whether to keep up with his actions or let Sally know he is just doing this to help her career. Ashley, the chemist, Eileen Davison, and Phyllis Butt heads Victor. The Black Knight decides he has to do things this way. Look for Victor. Look for Victor to question Adam's behavior. Nikki, the socialite Melody Thomas Scott, teams up with Phyllis and Ashley to take down Dion. Tessa, the songbird. Kate Fairbanks has a revelation. Keel, the Abbott playboy. Michael Miller gives some bad news, but there was a notable void left by Christoph St. John's death in February. The actor who had played Neil Winters since 1991 died from hypertrophic heart disease at age 52. Bergman says the shocking death brought the cost all closer. When did memorial service? We had already been through a funeral. We had already done scenes where Neil died, but we had not, as a company, really comes together to mourn this loss. He says it brought us all together in a really powerful. When people tune into why on earth they know who they are going to see on the show. And that's a critical important things. He explained a lot of these shows keep trying to reinvent the wheel, transform themselves, bring in a whole new cast, and that has been to their detriment every single time. Bergman was less fond of other Jack narratives, including his romantic reunion with Luan, a woman he met while serving in Vietnam, including his romantic reunion, a woman when he met while serving in Vietnam with whom he had a son. Everyone knows that's kind of a standard joke with Peter Bergman's his quiz. Just bring up chemo and he starts to wins for Bergman. Jack's look alike found in a Peruvian person was also too outlandish. He says he prefers things that are based a little more in reality. As Jack is pretending to have fallen for Nikki and has her increasingly in his clutches, and just before it's time to consummate the deed, Jack realizes he is fallen in love with Nikki. Bergman recalls and he lost everything. He lost his Nikki, he lost his Jabot, and that was a fun storyline. The star of Jack's romance with Phyllis also stand out over the years. The daytime Emmy Award winner has seen his character evolve from a much more reckless, much more womanizing god to someone who understands empathy, honesty. He has learned the value of family. Bergman's early days playing Jack still rank among his favorite storylines when he convinced Nikki solely so he could use her as a pawn to wrestle his family company. Jabot back from Victor Newman. When I came to Young and the Restless, I was dragged, kicking and screaming to the best things that ever happens to me, he says. Looking back, if I have any regrets, Bergman 66 says it's just crazy how long he has been on the series. He was Farm of Fire from All My Children in 1989. After a decade playing Dr. Cliff Warner, a blow he calls just devastating. But Melody Thomas Scott, who played Nikki Newman on Y&R, should just to her husband, former executive producer Edward Scott, that Bergman Newman on Y&R suggests to her husband, former executive producer Edward Scott, that Bergman should replace Terry Lester, who originated the role. I thought, do people really care about this? And as soon as I got the script, as soon as I got to play it was so powerfully valuable for me to go through, valuable for me experience, he says, and I hope the same is true for the audience. The actor called the celebration cathartic, though he was not sold on the idea at first. Is The Young and the Restless on today, November 24? If you are a fan of The Young and the Restless, then you know the soap has been on a roll with the drama lately. Not only are the Abbotts knee-deep in a battle with Tucker, Trevor St. Tone, but Phyllis, Michelle Stafford, and Christian Lorelai Bell are on the verge of reigniting their feud over Danny Michael Damian. Plus, Nikki Melody Thomas Scott is still caught up in a mysterious hostage situation. With all of that going on, can viewers look forward to seeing a new episode of The Young and Restless on November 24? Sadly, no. On November 24th, The Young and the Restless and The Bold and Beautiful are being bumped for college football as Iowa takes on Nebraska in a head-to-head battle of the gridiron starting at noon ET. That means we shall all have to wait another day to see what happens next in the lives of the Genoa City residents. Based on the following preview of the episode airing during the weeks of November 27, some must-watch moments are in the near future. Now, given what happened in the episode airing on November 21 and based on promo video, we obviously are most excited to see the continued mystery of Claire, Haley, Erin, and Aunt Jordan, Colleen Sank unfold. There are still so many questions as to why the duo is targeting the new men's. However, based on Corey. However, Howard's J.E.D. Peck returns to the soap and other context clues. We are under the suspicion that Claire may be the long presumed dead daughter of Coley and Victoria, Amelia and Hinel. If our running theory proves to be true, we can't wait to see how the new mans deal with family addition. Then there is Nikki. In this whole scenario, she is had to deal with the brunt of all quests. She is being held hostage in this lake house, poisoned, injected with vodka, and her sobriety has officially been compromised. Victoria threatened to call GCPD on him, but he claims he means no harm. Meanwhile, Nick decides to swing by Victoria after tracking with Billy Jason Thompson. When Nick shows up, the lights are on, but Victoria never answered the door. Nick believes she went to sleep and leave, but decides to double back and enter the back door after he starts feeling something is not. The new man's heroes may think things are fine now that she is gotten lucky out of her life, but her little brother does not think so. Bergman hopes his journey with the soap continues for long remains passionate. As long as I love it as much as I do at this moment, I shall stay as long as there is a show. Victoria threatens to call GCPD on him, but he claims he means no harm. Meanwhile, Nick decides to swing by Victoria after talking with Billy Jason Thompson. The spunky redhead is put to the test by Victoria. Watch for Nick to offer some advice to Sally. The Black Knight decides to do things his way. Look for Victor to question Adam's behavior. Sally is taken aback by Adam's action, but he puts two and two together and figures out Adam is just putting on an act to save her jobs and begs him to stop. Watch for Adam to be conflicted on whether to keep up with his actions or let Sally know who is just doing this to help her career. On the stage, there are pictures of Christopher around, and we are to St. Luke, says Bergman. We all take a moment to go and visit Christopher on that shot because he is still very much a part of our way and our experience. But there was a notable video left by Christopher Steve Jones' death in February. The actors who had played Neil Winters since 1991 died from hypertrophic heart disease at age of 52. The Young and the Restless, which premiered in 1937, has stood the test of time while many other soaps have been cancelled including All My Children. Bergman attributes the show longevity to the network mixed lineup of game shows and soap operas and the show's ability to stay true to itself. Bergman was less fond of other Jack narratives, including his romantic reunion, his Luan, a man he met while serving in Vietnam, with whom he had a son. Everyone knows that kind of standard joke with Peter Bergman. He says, just bring up chemo and he starts to wince as Jack is pretending to have fallen for Nicky and he has are increasing in his clutches and just before its time. to consummate the deal. Jack realizes he is fallen in love with Nikki. Bergman recalls and he loses everything. He loses Nikki.